eBay is invaluable for us watch collectors. Anybody trying to build a collection, buying and selling watches, you can't ignore eBay. Where else could you get exposure to a market of over 2 billion people worldwide? However, there are fees to be aware of. I've been caught out a couple of times. I sold this lacquer for £240 and what I actually received was £211. I'll also talk a little bit later on about the effect of importing, the UK taxes, import duty, something else you need to be aware of if you're buying from Japan or anywhere in Europe, America, as a UK buyer. I bought this Baltic for €660, which was just over £600 sterling. And because of import tax, it ended up costing me $713. So we'll have a look at that. These are all things you need to be aware of when you're buying and selling on eBay. Let's take a look. Hello, welcome to The Perfect Wrist. This video is about the costs and fees associated with eBay, but my channel generally is about watches. So what I'm going to outline today is based really on my experience with watches. My overwhelming experience with eBay, I've bought a lot of watches on eBay, I've sold some. My overwhelming experience has been positive. There's only been one or two cases where I've been a little bit disappointed. Even then, it wasn't hugely serious because the amounts involved weren't high. All the expensive luxury watches I've bought, I've been 100% pleased with. The sellers particularly. So when you list with eBay, obviously it goes without saying, make sure that your photos are top notch and you've got a great description. Use a template. You can then continue to use that template and just adjust bits and pieces within it. Makes things much quicker. So you have a listing fee, which is free. Excellent. If you don't exceed your monthly allowance of 1,000 items, if you're just listing one or two items, you can list for absolutely free. Oh, by the way, can you just, if you like these videos, can you just subscribe and like and share the videos? It takes a few seconds, costs nothing, but it does help the channel. Thanks. If your item sells, there is a final value fee, which is very, very closely 13% of not just what you sold the item for, but the item plus the postage plus any tax that a foreign buyer has paid to buy your item. So you can see clearly here that when I sold my lacquer, the buyer paid £240 plus £12 for postage plus his tax, his import tax of £22, which meant that the entire order came to £275. Remember, I've sold this for what I think is £240. From that £275, eBay take the tax off, £22. Then they take their fees off, which came to just over £41, which is roughly 13% of the total cost, because there's some VAT included in that as well. And you can see that I came out with £211. So roughly 12% less than what I'd sold the item for. The lacquer really wasn't the best example there, because it went to an international buyer. So he had his taxes, then it gets very confusing with currency changes. Basically, the thing to remember, if you're selling UK to UK, you pay 13% inclusive of VAT of the item sale plus the postage. Now, there are some other fees that haven't applied to me yet because I'm tight. There are various upgrade fees. So the big one that you need to be aware of is if you select a reserve price for your item. I think this is a little bit steep. You know, if you've got a watch that you don't want to sell below a certain price, you can start the auction off at around that price. That's generally what I do, and hope that I get bids to take it up to there. But if you set a reserve price, which is basically the price that you will not accept anything below, they're going to take 4% of that, whether the item sells or not. So if you've got something sitting week after week, say a month, right, and they relist it every 10 days, you could be looking at 4% costs every week or so. So think very carefully about that, setting a reserve price. What you can do for free is you can set your auction off at whatever, but you can have a buy it now price higher than that. It has to be at least 40% higher than that. And that means that somebody can just buy your watch then and there if they want it for that price. So set the buy it now price at a level that you would be happy with. And that's free. So eBay is very, very good. I am aware of some other small fees, 35 pence here, 30 pence there, £2.50 possibly. And these tend to be things you can add on. So you can have a special duration if you want less than 7 or 10 days for your listing. You can have a scheduler, so you can decide when that listing goes live. There's also promotions. You can have a gallery plus, I think it's £2.50, where you can stand out from the crowd. I've never used that. You can also have subtitles for the hard of hearing, or the hard of... In fact, I don't know why you would use that, but that's there. eBay have also introduced from the 8th of April this year, so that's now, a tiny fee that I wouldn't be too concerned about. But basically this is a regulatory operating fee. It's great, isn't it, how in the world regulations increase and it costs us all money. But this is tiny. It works out at 0.4% of your whole item, and it's to comply with new increasing regulation for eBay, and that 0.4% is based on the item plus the postage plus the tax. So it's a bit of a balancing act, working out what to use. But for me, I list for free. I don't bother with a reserve price. It's a rip-off. But I do accept the 13% final value fee. It's around 13%, plus a standard 30 pence. Because, to be honest, you're getting access to a worldwide market. Now, I just want to say something for you watch buyers when you're buying from abroad about import taxes to the UK. It's different in every country, similar, but the UK it's 20%. So if you look on a website, the Baltic was a perfect example for me. The Baltic you can buy from France. On a strap it's €580. With the beads of rice bracelet it's €660, which nets down to about £610, 600 to 610. So you think you're paying £600 to £610, okay? My final bill with the import duty was £713. So not quite 20% over the 600, but close enough. Be wary of that if you're buying from anywhere other than the UK, because the price you see on eBay does not include import tax. That's what that seller is selling it for. What I try to do now, I try to buy from the UK. I've been burned a couple of times. I try to buy from the UK. I try to sell to the UK because it's much simpler. The postage cost as well. I can send a watch tracked with Every or other delivery services for around £2.95. It's an amazing deal, that, and that includes tracking. If I try to do that through the Royal Mail, I'm paying over 12. I'm paying £12. If I try to send it abroad, I'm paying even more than that. So think very carefully about that. It's good. Reducing costs on the postage is good for you. It's good for the buyer. So thanks for watching. That was a brief one. eBay is vital for us watch buyers and sellers. What I have done now on my channel, if you visit that, I have various playlists. I've grouped videos together. There's a Seiko binge list. There's also a playlist about aspects of watch collecting and the watch market. It'd be interesting to look at those and see if my predictions earlier in the year were correct with hindsight. Until next time, come along. I'll see you then.